I started this podcast with the sole intention of healing those that are hurt, showing people that God is really real, that it's not just some religion, it's not just some belief system, that there really is a God and there's a God inside us all because God created us. Uh, it wasn't to be religious, it wasn't to be even necessarily spiritual. It's to empower people that have been pushed around their whole lives, people that have been stomped on, people that feel like nobody cares about them. I want them people to know that love isn't just the reaction from the outside world. Love comes within, and you've got to love yourself. You've got to recognize the love that God gave you. But it seems like I get more hate than anything. I mean, I get messages from people that thank me, that appreciate it, but I'm constantly having to fight people because their religion tells them to be hateful. No, they won't call it hate. Don't get me wrong, they won't call it hate. They'll call it something else, like I'm being righteous. They're being righteous, and they're doing what God doesn't like. This God doesn't like that. Well, you're not God. You're not. If your religion is telling you to hate on somebody and not to love them, then maybe you need to second guess your belief system. Maybe you need to look deeper into it. Maybe it's not your religion that says that in the first place. Maybe it's your dogma. You know, when I studied Jesus, I didn't study just the things that people said about him in the Bible. I studied his actions. What did he do? How did he react to people that were sinners? I yes, it matters what other people say about him, but it's kind of like when people say I said something, unless you hear me say it, just take it with a grain of salt. When Jesus specifically said things and did things, he was guiding Jews, but he didn't hate people that weren't Jews. He showed them love. He said very specifically, remember the woman in Canaan, I can't pronounce it. I'm not here for you, but he still showed her love and he helped her. The woman at the well, she wasn't a Jew, but he still helped them. He still loved them. Yeah, he said what they'd been doing just so they know that he knows who they are, but he's still loving them. He said, I knew that you had been married 5 different times. So she's not thinking that he's just showing love because he doesn't know her past. No, he's showing love in spite of her past. That's what we should be doing. That kind of love. Not this, oh, you shouldn't be even cohorting with this person. You shouldn't be talking to this person. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. Shut up. I don't care. People come onto my podcast all the time and make their little comments. They email me and tell me how I'm going to hell, how I shouldn't be saying this and I shouldn't be saying that. I don't care what you say, because at the end of the day, you have nothing to do with my belief system or anybody else's belief system. You have nothing to do with their salvation. Nothing. And honestly, I think you're insane, because that is the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but you're not getting different results. When you're hateful to people, when you're telling them that they're going to hell because they're acting in a certain way, it's not changing them. And if they do change, they're changing out of fear. And when you change out of fear, it doesn't change you. I grew up in fear. I grew up in hell. It didn't make me start respecting the people that were showing me hell. Love is what got me to change. Love. That's what Jesus kept on telling people. Love will change you. It's the most powerful thing in the world. And yet people, instead of using love, they use fear. Like Jesus used fear as a marketing tool. Did he talk about hell? Yes, he was Jewish. Of course he talked about hell, but he talked about hell to other Jews, not to people that weren't believers. And he didn't judge them. Oh no, you're a woman of Canaan. You don't even follow the God of Abraham. So therefore, I'm not going to have anything to do with you. He didn't say that. He treated everybody with respect. But people I'm seeing constantly on Facebook and on Instagrams, people laughing, Christians laughing at somebody because they said something they don't agree with. That's not respectful. You call yourself a Christian. I don't care who you are. That's not respectful. That's not Jesus. If you want to be a Christian as in like Christ. Follow Jesus. What did Jesus do? How did he react to people? He didn't laugh at them. He didn't mock them. He was wise enough to know that mocking somebody is not going to get them to change. So when you're mocking somebody, you're not trying to change them. You're not trying to get them to see your way. You're trying to say, hey, I'm better than you. You're being condescending. This world is going to hell. And when you're being condescending, you're not helping it grow and heal. You are helping it go to hell. You want people to quit hating you? You want people to quit judging you because of your belief system? Start being respectful and loving. Be like Jesus. I've had to show so many people that never knew anything about Jesus, only knew Christians, so they didn't like Jesus because they thought Jesus was the way Christians are. But I'm like, no, you need to read Jesus the way Jesus introduced himself, the way Jesus treated other people. Just read that. Don't concern yourself with Christians. I shouldn't have to say that. That shouldn't be the way. And it's not majority of Christians. Majority of Christians are not like that at all. But people aren't going to see that. That's not what people see. People will see the loud and outspoken ones, the ones that stick out. Most Christians don't get offended by anything I say or do because in the Bible, it actually says, do not take offense. It says that. So you shouldn't be getting offended because I said something that you don't agree with. It's not for you. It's not about you. If you're offended, the message is meant for somebody else. Do you speak Aramaic? Do you speak Latin? Do you speak Hebrew? Most of you can't understand Old English, so you have to even go newer. Well, when you're talking to a guy, we'll call him Trailer Park Joe. I used to be Trailer Park Joe. And you say, you should love your neighbor. He's like, I know my neighbor, Bob. He's a jackass. Why would I love him? Don't be a dick. Oh, yeah, that's loving somebody, not being a dick to them. Oh, you get offended by that, but it's true. That's what loving thy neighbor is. Sometimes it's just not being a dick when you could be one. It's showing them love. Jesus is a badass. That's a big one that I get people that love it, and I get people that absolutely hate it. You shouldn't say that about Jesus. Well, you don't know what a badass is then. Oh, because you don't like cussing. I don't care. It's not for you. But for somebody like me that thought Jesus was an effeminate pacifist, and somebody says that, I'm like, how was he a badass? Oh, he whipped and threw tables. Okay, well, anybody can lose their temper. How's that make you a badass? No, he would look at the eyes of the emperor. He would look at the soldiers face to face. He would talk to them like they were equals. And they talked to him back like he was an equal. They showed him respect. That's badass. I grew up on the streets where you did not do that unless you were getting ready to get knocked in the mouth. You either had to be a badass and could do it and get away with it, or you got knocked in the mouth. So yeah, Jesus is a badass. I'm sorry if you get offended. I'm sorry that you get offended. But I'm not going to change what I say or what I said because it's true. You may not like the way it was said, but you don't speak Aramaic. Until you start speaking Aramaic and you understand the idioms, which most of you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say that. You say you studied Christianity, but you have no idea what Aramaic, what Jesus said in Aramaic. When Jesus talked about God in Aramaic, he said Allah. I know some of you are taken aback because, well, that's Muslim. Well, yeah, it's the same language. Allah just means God, the God. Quit being so divisive. Just love. So what? They believe differently than you. Love them anyway. So what? They're sinning. You're sinning. We're all sinning. We're all living in sin. If you tell somebody they're wrong in a public forum, you're sinning because Paul tells you not to do that. But you do it anyway. You're still sinning. Isn't not one sin greater than the other? Stop hating people. Just love them. Love them anyway. You'd be amazed how much further in life you get, how much further with somebody you get by just showing them love when nobody else would. People are drawn to people that love others, and they want to know more. They want to follow that. So stop choosing hate. I don't care if you justify it by something in the Bible. The number one commandment Jesus said was to love. Love God, love your neighbor, love yourself, and love your enemies. And Paul told you what love is. I mean, if you're a biblical person and you're a Pauline Christian, you're going to listen to what Paul said. In 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, he explained what love is. And in that explanation, he said, love holds no record of wrongs. If you keep on bashing people over the head about all their wrongs, you're not loving. You're not listening to what Jesus said to do. Isn't that a pretty big sin? He did say it was his number one commandment, the most important thing. So stay in peace. Stay in love. Hey guys, I want to personally thank everyone for liking and sharing my videos. If you want to continue to see my content, all you got to do is press that subscribe button and I'll notify you as soon as a new video comes out. I don't get paid for any of this. So if you want to buy some of my merch, like my shirts, like Jesus is a Badass or my Don't Be a Dick shirt, you can easily go to my merch store, which is at sogtv.org, which I will have it in the description at every video. So push that. Go buy yourself a shirt. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day, and I will see you at the next episode. Thank you.